Today I am going to show you how to create a powerful automation that combines Claude's streamlined language capabilities and service objects' reliable and data-driven validation APIs. If you've been following the AI space lately, you've probably heard buzz around something called an MCP, or Model Context Protocol. We're going to break down exactly what that is, why it matters, and then build one using Postman's MCP server and use the Service Objects Lead Validation International API. We'll then connect it to Claude Desktop to unleash its full potential. Think of MCP like this. Your AI assistant is incredibly smart, but it lives in a bubble. Without MCP, it can only work within its training data. An MCP server is a lightweight middleware layer. It exposes a set of tools, discrete actions the AI can invoke. When you connect an MCP server to Claude, the model reads those tool descriptions and decides when to use them, calls them automatically, and incorporates the results into its response. Before MCP, if you wanted an AI to validate a lead, you'd have to manually call the API yourself, copy the response, paste it into chat, and ask the AI to interpret it. This can be clunky, slow, and hard to scale. With MCP, you configure the connection once. After that, the AI can invoke lead validation on its own and deliver an intelligent answer. That's what makes MCP so powerful. It's the bridge between AI reasoning and real-world data. A real draw for an API like lead validation to be used inside MCP is that its result payload returns so much information. Instead of needing to create statistics and graphics yourself, you can ask your AI assistant to automatically generate meaningful interpretations of your data. To get started, navigate to Postman, click API Network and MCP Generator. Search for service objects and select the API and operations you wish to use. For this example, we will choose the Validate Lead International operation under LVI. Next, you will click Generate, and when that is finished, download the zip file. Unzip and rename the file in your selected working directory for your MCP. Then open it up in VS Code. Inside VS Code, you'll want to edit your environment file with a good name for the LVI license key and enter its value. Then inside the API operation JavaScript file, make sure the name of the license key is updated to what you changed it to in the request URL and in the parameters section. Another option you have is to scroll down to the bottom and edit what parameters are required. Postman automatically makes all parameters required, so edit these to fit your use case. For example, for LVI Validate Lead International, I will make only the country and test type required. The most important requirement for LVI is the test type, as it will instruct the service on what fields to test. For example, if your data includes fields for name, email, and phone, you want to make sure the test type you choose does not test for address. More information on lead validation test types can be found in our developer guides. Another important modification to make to this boilerplate code is to make a section that provides blank values as a default for the request parameters, as well as a modified execute function method that takes these default values. The reason you want to do this is because the parameters you provide values for will be sent to the MCP as such, but we want to make sure that the string literal bracketed parameter names are not sent in place of blank parameter values. After those edits have been made, open up a new terminal and run the command npm install to install the required dependencies. Once that is finished, right-click on the mcpserver.js file and copy the path to that file. Then open Postman again and navigate to your workspace and create a new MCP request. Make sure the type is stdio and type in node and paste in the path you just copied. Run this command to connect to the MCP server. Test out the connection inside Postman, and once everything looks good, then we can move on to Claude. Navigate to your Claude Desktop config JSON file and copy the relevant section from the README file of the MCP project folder. Update the names and paths according to your setup and save the file. You will need to completely quit Claude Desktop and then reopen it to make sure the server is recognized. In Claude Desktop, open up your developer settings and make sure the MCP server is enabled. Now you get to test the MCP in Claude. For an example that shows the true power of this MCP, let's upload a file that contains several lead records and ask Claude to validate them and display the results in a dashboard that highlights statistics and gathers meaningful interpretations for me. Claude creates a dashboard for me that is easy to read and summarizes the key points of the lead validation results. It creates charts for things like lead quality by country, highlights of acceptable results, and top issues found. It also shows a summary of the lead validation in a table where you can see record level results. And that's it. You just built a working MCP server connecting Claude to a real-world data validation API in less than 15 minutes. Let's recap. We introduced MCP, the Model Context Protocol, and explained how it bridges AI reasoning and external services. We explored the Service Object's LVI API and understood its output. We used Postman to wrap that API as a named MCP tool, and we connected it to Claude and validated leads live. This same process can be applied to any of our other validation APIs, such as our phone validation, geocoding, email validation, and more. Make sure to drop a comment below to let me know how you use this tutorial. Thanks for watching!